With Own Every Word, you can own every word in the metaverse.
Hammy Ground.
Dunkles. Oppo Time Snack.
And every word is a one of one. And do we have a roadmap and utility? You bet your ass. Have you read it all yet? Okay. Own Every Word. It's another NFT project.
Hey everybody, welcome to Own Every Word, the game show where the word herd submits answers to fill in the blank statements and our panel debates which is the best answer so the person submitted can earn incredible NFT prizes. I'm your host, Matt Harris, and I'm here with a terrific group of panelists who will each write down what they think is the best fit, argue their point vehemently, and from the words they choose, they'll come to a consensus willingly or unwillingly. We're here every Wednesday, so please join us to see who in the word herd has submitted the answers that our panelists feel are the most worthy. And with that, let's meet our panel. Hello, everybody. So good to see you here. Thank you all for coming out. Let's introduce you to the word herd. Now, our first guest has worked on such shows as Mad TV, Family Guy, American Dad, and several shows on the CW that she'll pay for with her soul at a later date. She is the creator of Sasquatch Detective for DC Comics and the author of None of This Is Going According to Plan. Please welcome Brandy Stillwell, everybody. Hi, Brandy.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So, Brandy, you're a writer.
Yes.
Is there a word that you love to use in your work?
Fantastic town.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And now I want to incorporate that into my speech every day, but I will make sure to credit you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, our next panelist is a writer, musician, and actor who you know from the Showtime series Super Pumped. You've also heard his voice in numerous cartoons and numerous other things. It's Rama Valerie, everybody. Rama.
I'm Matt.
Rama Valori. Did I just say your name literally the wrong way? What a great way to start off.
I mean, you did, but the audience could own the one of one mistake version that you did first.
If we include that in the NFT prize, Rama Valori will come to your house.
I won't tell you when, though.
No, that'll take the fun right out of it. So we're doing this show about words. You're familiar. And I'm very curious about this, Rama. What word would you use to describe yourself?
The word I would use to describe myself is cromulent.
Huh. I don't even want an explanation. You know what? I was going to ask for you to go into depth. I want that to be revealed. This is your challenge. We're going to have that be revealed over the course of the show. Right? I want to see Cromulent Rama, which now is, I want to have that printed on a t-shirt. Thank you for being here, Rama.
Thank you.
Our final panelist is one of our favorite comedians. She recently won the Boston Comedy Festival. You've seen her in the Wall Street Journal. Let's welcome Liz Glazer, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Liz.
It's so nice to be here.
Well, now, is it true you used to be a law professor?
Yeah. Who told you?
I did, a little birdie. What is your favorite, since we're talking about words, what is your favorite legal term?
I mean, there's like the words are not that hard, but I always love the rule against perpetuities. Perpetuities is a fun word.
It really
And
is.
I used to teach property law, and that's like this horrific, part of property law. It's like notoriously hard, but it basically is about not having dead hand control. Like when you leave your property, you're not supposed to be able to tell people who are alive after you what to do with your property after a certain point.
No, right on. See,
Yeah.
my favorite legal term is acquitted.
I feel you.
But fantastic. And I'm already learning about property law. With that, let's get to the game, everybody. All right. So just to give you a rundown, During each month on Own Every Word, the game show, we build our questions around a theme. And this time it's school's out. So each fill in the blank is based around that theme. Panelists, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Round 1 has begun, and here is the fill in the blank prompt. My parents are broke, so this year they sent me to blank camp. Let's see what the word heard submitted. My parents are broke, so this year they sent me to recession camp. They sent me to turnip camp. They sent me to jungle camp. They sent me to bartender camp. They sent me to starve camp. They sent me to backyard camp. They sent me to disinfectant camp. They sent me to bed cover camp. They sent me to pimple camp. And they sent me to Warsaw camp. So, panelists, you've seen what they've submitted. Please write down your answer. Word heard, I got to tell you, out the gate, you have delivered for me. All right. All of these words, 100% classic. Good luck to all of you who have submitted. A couple of these camps I've been to in my own way. Okay, I am seeing eyes up. I am seeing pens down. So as the proctor of this test, let's check in with you. And I'm going to go from the way I see you first. So Rama, what did you choose?
My parents are so broke this year, they sent me to recession camp, which is the same camp they've sent me to every year since around 2008, I think. I think that's been consistent since then.
It was a big year. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a big year for recession camp. It's ironically, the biggest boom in recession camp that they had at that time. So makes sense. Makes sense. Recession camp. Let's check in with you, Liz. Go ahead. What did you have?
Well, I thought I recognized Rama from many years, and he is my good camp friend from recession camp.
Aha. All right. All right. See, I would ask you to sing the camp song. Maybe we'll get to that in the credits. However, well, no, what am I talking about? They cut the music program. So, Brandy, you've heard from your two. What was your first impression? What word jumped out at you and made its way there?
Backyard camp. And the reason would be because when I was a kid, my dad would be like, we're like, can we get a pool? And he's like, no, because I would be liable. But anytime like the ditch would flood, because we lived in the country in the middle of nowhere in Kansas. And if the ditches flooded, they'd tell us to go put our swimsuits on and swim in the ditch.
Wow.
It was the tune of the century.
Wow, that you know what? I'm going to say that sounds charming. That sounds charming in a way that only Midwestern America can. But you know what? I'm with you. I never went to a sleep. I was at backyard camp every year of my life growing up. So we have compelling arguments here. Here's what we're going to do. I am actually going to ask you to take in what you heard from each of your panel constituents here and write down your final choice. And while you're doing that, we're going to go to Phil Ranta, our director, and see what the word heard is saying in the comments stream.
Whoa, hello, everybody. Figuring it out. There we go. So many interesting things. I feel like we just learned that Brandy is from the late 1700s and she's a time traveler in some Bill and Ted situation. So she probably doesn't know what Warsaw is yet because the news of other cities. Not yet, but it'll get to you. Let's see what the word herd had to say. Doge the Count said, recession, inflation, all punishments. You're telling me you should see my bills. Soda Reap said, is there a better fit than recession for this one? We're going to see so. We're going to see. T. Richardson PGH said, school's out. Work's still on. That's a fact. It always was for me. Moon Raven says, backyard bed cover camp. Every year. Thanks, Mom, is how I imagine he said that. Spin a Turtle said, I'm sure recession camp is where several children all across the world are going this year. It's where my kids are going this year. You better believe it. Callie Malley 2021 says, lots of funny ones, but bartender camp is actually fun. Someone's got to drink them once they're made. And T. Richardson's back saying, recession camp is America. Warsaw is a cheap area. You've got a great point there. But let's see if there's any cheaper areas to send your kids to from the panel.
All right. And so now we are back here with you. All right. We are back here with my illustrious panel. You have heard from each other. You have heard from the word herd. Let's see where your head's at now as we get to our final choice. So, Rama, I'm going to go back to you. What was your final choice here?
My final choice is still my first choice. I'm sticking with recession camp because as charming as backyard camp is, backyards are a privilege in some cases. The backyard for some people may be a yard, whereas in many places like where I am right now, it is a back alley. So the back alley is not as safe or charming. And recession tends to cover a lot of things. You'll probably be eating turnips at recession camp. It might be in a jungle. You will certainly be drinking some homemade liquor, possibly in a bathtub or toilet in your cell. You likely will starve. If there is a backyard, you'll be chained in it. You'll need as much disinfectant as you can possibly get, as we've seen through the first 18 lockdowns we've been in. Bed covers, you might want to wrap yourself in it to play dead. You'll be covered in pimples because of poor nutrition. And it's effectively like living in post-World War II Warsaw, struggling for resources.
Wow.
All right. I love the breakdown. I love the bullet points. Your criteria is on point. Liz, let's check in with you. Were you swayed one way or another, or did you stick to your guns?
My camp friend and I are telepathically connected, it seems. Yeah, I mean, the other way of understanding recession camp is like I would go to camp to learn how to do things. So I went to tennis camp, for example, to learn how to play tennis. And I feel like recession camp is a good idea if one's parents are broke. Figure out how to survive in a recession.
How to do a recession. I like it. As a matter of fact, I'm signing up myself now because I want to know. So, Brandy, yeah, Brandy, now you have two of your fellow panelists who have voted for recession. Were you swayed? No peer pressure. Let's just see what you came up with.
Because the backyard was my own Vietnam, I stayed with it, and I was like, I felt like, I know, damn you, Rama, and your logic, but my backyard, again, for me having to swim in a ditch with semi rigs going by because it was like a pet cemetery house because we were right on the highway. And then like debris and shit. And my parents were like, you can swim out there. And then also my backyard, climbing trees as a kid. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a snake in the tree. My dad like, go get a shotgun, and like would blow part of the tree off with the snake on it. And then kill it that way after it had almost landed on us. So I stayed with backyard, you guys. I'm sorry I failed you.
Not at all, because here's what has to happen. We are coming to a consensus. I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock. You are going to convince each other as panelists who takes home the NFT prize. 60 seconds starts now.
I think recession camp could be backyard camp. It seems to me that backyard camp could be a particular of the general heading that is recession camp.
And Rama also mentioned that, his backyard is an alley, and not everyone had a backyard as a kid. So that kind of like kicks me and my can to the curb. So I'm going to go with recession camp because Rama had great logic on that one.
Really.
Whoa, so we have come to a consensus in the most logical, reasonable, and albeit depressing. I'll just go ahead and say this was a very depressing. We were talking about recession, having not, swimming in ditches and backyards, and blowing animals out of trees. And let me tell you, this is a movie that would win the next year's Oscars. So congratulations to Beard is the Word.
Nice.
Beard is the Word with recession. You have effectively started out Own Every Word, the game show, with just hitting that right emotional chord. So please look out for your official, unofficial Own Every Word NFT coming in your crypto.com NFT name. So with that, we are on to round two. And panelists, here is your next fill in the blank word. To earn some extra money for college, try selling blank. Let's see what the word herd submitted. To earn some extra money for college, try selling superheroes. Try selling yourself. Try selling sweatpants. Try selling kin. Try selling finger food. Try selling Ken. Try selling caribou protein. Try selling parts. Try selling posts. And finally, to earn some extra money for college, try selling gleeful drink. Panelists, write down which one of these jumped out at you. Don't think too much. Just go with whatever one struck an emotional chord with you first. Because if we are doing anything here at Own Every Word, we are leading with our emotions. Excellent. I'm already seeing eyes up. I'm seeing pins down. And this time I'm going to go reverse order and start with you, Brandy Stillwell.
I went with superheroes.
Ooh.
Oh.
I don't know. I guess because we all saw in the news the other night the pizza delivery guy driver driving by a house and then ran in and like saved 5 kids and punched a window and got all bloody and stuff. I would do that.
Okay, I would agree with you, and I think so would the Disney and Marvel Cinematic Universes.
It's bravery, you guys.
Exactly. So reversing the order, and you're second again, Liz Glazer.
Yourself.
Oh, hello.
That is, I mean, arguably by going to college at all, you're selling yourself. So to get there, why not do the same?
What are we all doing right now? All right. So, Rama, on to you. Exactly. What jumped out at you, Rama?
Ken.
Nice.
I don't know who Ken is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why Ken is. I don't know why he's available to sell. But he's less personal than kin. So rather than selling yourself or your family, you could sell some guy named Ken. Ken might have been at the 1/6 insurrection for all I know. So sell him as an NFT.
Hey, Ken might be recession proof. We don't know. There's only one way to find out. So 3 different answers, 3 compelling arguments. Were you swayed? Did something strike a different chord with you? Go ahead and write down your final answer. And we're going to check in with Phil Ranto one more time with the word heard.
Yes, so many amazing answers here. Crypto Don 9672 said, Ken's gonna make you dollars. That's my name.
Only
Ken.
if it makes sense.
Our addicted OG said, the oldest profession, yourself. That's true. That's absolutely accurate. Moon Raven said, Ken is missing parts. Every Ken I've ever seen is missing parts. That's true. Callie Mally 2021 said, I'm not sure why, but caribou protein seems like the only options. I think that caribou protein should be up there too. It seems like rare meat. Seems like it's full of riches. Doge the Count says, yourself, because it's an unlimited resource. Yeah, if you've got young energy, I'm 40. JJ the Bearded say, I'd say sell yourself, but if you are gross, then it has to just sell parts. That's a fact. You can get my left ankle and my right arm. And Spin a Turtle says, the answer here is clearly caribou protein, because you can go out and hunt said caribou and turn a profit on it. You know, live off the land like they used to back in the day. Lots of good points there. Let's see if we can turn an NFT prize profit to somebody that we select from the word heard.
Like you do. A lot of good suggestions coming here from our word heard comment stream, but let's see what our panelists landed on. So, Brandy, you've heard a lot of influences. Were you swayed? Did you stick to your guns? Where did you land?
I did switch. Liz, you do have a great point.
Okay.
And I appreciate that, because you probably are right on all of this. However, I did appreciate Rama's kin. So I switched it up to Ken.
Absolutely. I love the misdirect there. I was absolutely gobsmacked by that one.
Give it.
Liz Glazer.
Well, Brandy, I appreciate that you were not exactly swayed, but that you bought my argument. But I also switched to Ken.
Yeah.
F Ken.
Ken can go. Ken can go. But so Rama, you and your silky velvet voice have lended to swaying your fellow panelists. Where did you land?
I'm sorry, Ken. You're for sale.
Ken is gone. It is time. That's how you. If anybody wants to make some extra money for college, if you are a friend named Ken, clear out. You've been given fair warning. Congratulations to streaming.
Woo!
Streaming.
Woo-hoo! Ayoo!
Who would have thought when you woke up this morning that by the end of the day you would be receiving a sweet official unofficial NFT prize from Own Every Word, the game show? But you have, because you have won. The panelists have picked your word. Ken, congratulations. And we are on to round 3, moving and shaking and smoking and such. Let's see what our prompt is. Summers with grandma are blank ever since she won the lottery. Let's see what the word heard submitted. Summers with grandma are unreal ever since she won the lottery. They are high end ever since she won the lottery. Swank ever since she won the lottery. Extreme ever since she won the lottery. Jet propelled ever since she won the lottery. Bloodthirsty ever since she won the lottery. Anarchic. I'm saying anarchic ever since she won the lottery. Legendary ever since she won the lottery. Infamous ever since she won the lottery. And hair-raising ever since she won the lottery. Panelists, allow yourself to be taken emotionally by any of these prompts. Write them down. If my grandmother won the lottery, each and every one of these would have applied to how the summer would have been.
Yeah.
So I do not envy you in this. And it looks like you guys are ready to go. So let's jump right in. This time, Liz Glazer, I'm going to start with you.
So I agree with you. There are a lot of synonyms here. I picked swank because it seemed like the most on the nose, but as you were mentioning, there really are a lot. So I can be swayed because a lot of these things would also be true.
Okay. All right. Putting it out there right away that you're open to
Yep.
influence. Love it. Love it. So let's see. Brandy, I'm going to go to you.
Since my grandmother is no longer with us, she'd probably be a vampire now. So I went with bloodthirsty.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. And Rama, what about yourself?
I went with anarchic because if there's one thing I've learned about the ultra wealthy, particularly over the last couple years, is that they do not believe in anything, they do not respect anything, and thus no rules apply. So it could quickly become bloodthirsty, jet propelled, extreme swank, high end, unreal, legendary, infamous, hair raising, except if it's Jeff Bezos because he's bald. But everything else applies to any of them.
Although it also kind of matters how much she won the lottery for, because I don't know if you all watched Lottery Dream Home on HGTV. But like casting for that has gotten pretty far flung. It's like somebody won $10 in a scratch off and then they're on the show. So just putting that out there. I don't know that really carries.
It is panelist perception. All right. You are the author of this story right here. In one where we got swankness, we have horrors with elderly vampires, or The Purge, apparently. So with all of those influences, see where you were swayed and hone in on your final answer. And let's jump back over to that gorgeous man, Phil Ranta, and see what he is doing with his beard with the word heard.
Yes. Oh, I love it on Malibu Dream Home where they're like, I won $30. I get a parking spot in Malibu. Wee-haw! That'll be season 12. Let's see what the word herd had to say to this one. I'm sorry, but if my grandma won the lottery, everything would be extreme. His grandma is a bottle of Mountain Dew. J.K. Palm said, this is clearly bloodthirsty because behind every great fortune is a murderous grandma. That's right. Grandpa fell down the stairs. That's a fact. T. Richardson PGH said, legendary is on fleek for old geeks. LOL. That is the beginning of a rap song somewhere. Reno Cap said, legendary, just like those sweet Own Every Word NFTs. Let's go. Thank you for the plug, Reno Cap. And your Wizard's my favorite. Doge the Count says, infamous. She sounds like a hardcore grandma. Yes, she does. Moon Raven is back saying, grandma would even give up rimming if she won the lottery. That is a callback to an earlier episode.
Big
but
callback.
Also as a standalone, it's still a great comment. And Callie Malley 2021 said, I would have loved a jet-propelled summer just once. He wants to take the highway to the danger zone. But let's see if we can take a highway to the consensus zone with our panel.
Oh, if only we can get the Kenny Loggins remix on that. So let's check in with our illustrious panelists and see where they landed. I believe I started with you, Liz. Is that correct?
Yeah. And for all my talk about changing, I stuck with swank because I recognize that the arguments were made on the basis of particulars, but I still don't think that there's another word that aptly describes exactly what's going on here. With a grandma generally.
Swank is it's a great umbrella. It's a great umbrella for all of these things that could be a rich person or a Hillary. Brandy, what about you?
I feel like I'm stalking Rama, but I feel like I'm gonna go with anarchy because with January 6th right now. I'm going towards I don't trust my elders right now. The ones that are still alive. The ones that are dead, I'm totally behind them. But the ones that are alive, I'm no bueno. So I'm going with Rama and I switch.
All right. Don't trust the upper 1%. You heard it here first. And now, Rama, you have been a big influencer here. You have been the sower of seeds. Where did you land on round 3?
For a brief moment, I thought about switching to swank purely off of Liz's explanation or reminder of lotteries could be any size and you could buy anything. But it still just meant that it would be pure chaos. So I stuck with anarchic. Because you could do a lot of damage in the clearance aisle of Ross Dress for Less as an old grandma.
Yeah. And, I would imagine that grandma would. So I'm happy to go with the group and I'll write down anarchic just, to write it down. And there we have it.
Whoa. Can I tell you right now that this is the most civilized, just clear-headed
they make good points.
Debate and an agreement that I have ever seen. I don't think you guys know what's going on in this country with people, with the internet, for you to be coming with all reasonable agreements. But we do have an agreement. Anarchic.
Well, how ironic that we agreed on anarchy.
Yeah.
There's none here.
Boom. Nothing but order for our anarchy. Congratulations to Curious.
Woo!
Curious is our winner here. Please be looking for your sweet unofficial official NFT prize that'll be coming to you in a very orderly fashion. Wow, guys, we are zooming through this and we are on to round 4. Now, for round 4, just to remind you, this is the twofer round where only people with 2 cards can submit. So the answer will be 2 words. You'll get it. Here we go. Let's see the prompt for round 4. If you don't like your blank teacher, ask to be blank. Let's see what the word heard submitted. If you don't like your blandness teacher, ask to be Sandman. If you don't like your trivia teacher, ask to be boiled. If you don't like your zoology teacher, ask to be carbonated. If you don't like your airline teacher, ask to be pullover. If you don't like your French kiss teacher, ask to be unconvinced. If you don't like your pathetic teacher, ask to be mouthpiece. If you don't like your lung teacher, ask to be blown. If you don't like your alchemy teacher, ask to be removers. If you don't like your wild pig teacher, ask to be macho. And if you don't like your joyless teacher, ask to be hammered. Just as a reminder, if you do pick the words do come in as the couplet they were introduced at. There is no mixing and matching words. It will only be the word directly adjacent to it. And with that, write down the 2 words that jumped out at you. I don't know what school district has the French kiss teacher in it. However, probably could have benefited that in the time that I was in the market for that. All right, so I'm seeing eyes up. I'm seeing people ready to go. Brandy, I'm going to start with you. What did you write down there?
I went with joyless and hammered.
Hello.
I don't really have a rhyme or reason for it. It's just kind of, the world is kind of joyless right now. So cheers to you. Let's get home with it.
Yes. You know what? I'm going to have to say that is a pretty solid logic, especially when you look at a lot of the public school system. Just pointing it out. That's all. This time I'm going to skip and go to you, Rama. Rama, you are the second person I'm going to. What do you have down on your paper?
If you don't like your French kiss teacher, ask to be unconvinced. Purely because it was the most ridiculous option that jumped out to me right away. And honestly, if you don't like them, they probably do need to convince you to keep you in that class. So.
All right. I like to ask to be unconvinced.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, can you unconvince me? Because I'm pretty much for this right now.
Yeah.
All right. Loving it. So, Liz Glazer.
So
ready.
I agree with Brandy.
Yeah.
Joyless and hammered. And my rationale is really not so much content based, but based on the fact that both are adjectives or in the right participle tense for the sentence. So I understand, Rama, that yours was the more ridiculous choice. And I suppose this one is the least ridiculous choice, which was why I picked it, because I am not ridiculous.
Oh, there you go.
Try and unconvince me.
There you go. Word heard. I'm trying to tell you, this grammar, know about it. Okay, so you've heard the arguments here that are very, very clear and reasonable. Again, this is on the internet. What? But with that, put your final answers down on your respective writing surface. I'm going to go check in with Phil Ranta one more time to see what the word heard is talking about. They are blowing up over here.
They are blowing up. It's hard to keep up with the chat over here. Let's see. Mogwai Shadow says lung/blown go so good together. Yeah, you are right about that. Lungs. Moonraven, joyless and hammered. I'm there, baby. And with the rubber ducky dressed as Springsteen. That's how I imagine he's saying it as your avatar. J.K. Palm says, this is obviously airline pullover, because if you don't like your teacher, you shouldn't put yourself and your teacher's life in danger. That's a very good way of thinking about it. That's fair. Reno Cap says, gotta be hammered before a joyless lecture. Definitely. That was my junior year of college, I believe. Peeking into the senior year. Stacy Ruemaker says, joyless and hammered just makes sense. That was my senior year of college. So too Reap. Ask to be boiled cracked me up. That's true. I do like ask to be boiled, regardless of what the first word is. Asking someone to be boiled is it's Bugs Bunny, and I love it. And Crypto Don 9672 says, my high school carpentry teacher, joyless and hammered. I would be too if I was them, but let's see if we could be joyful and hopeful when we win our NFT prize when we come to a consensus.
Thank you, Phil. Joyless and hammered carpentry teacher. I love that. Who's probably also fingerless. But let's check in with our all 30 fingered panelists here and see what they came up with as their final answer. So, Brandy, what did you have here?
Well, Matt, I appreciate you talking about like your wood teacher, because I had like a woodcrafting teacher who like literally had 9 digits. So yeah,
Yep.
he was definitely joyless and hammered. So thank you, Liz, and take that, Rama. I have stayed with my first choice.
Boom!
Bam!
Right there. Cannot argue with that logic. That is solid. That is ironclad. And Rama, with that, what say you?
Pass.
Pass. You want to? Okay. You know what? I am going to come back to you, but I will honor your pass. And let's go see Liz. Liz, what do you have to say here?
I agree with Stacy. It just makes sense. Joyless and hammered, baby.
Joyless and hammered. All right. It makes grammatic sense. It makes thematic sense.
Yep.
And Rama, it is now back in your court. Okay.
Thank you for indulging the past, Matt. I thought that this might help for dramatic context for you as a host.
Absolutely.
Despite the unwarranted attack by Brandy, I had actually changed my answer to joyless and hammered.
Hey,
because it just makes sense.
You know you want to.
Oh man.
Most of my teachers were joyless and hammered. So.
To any marketing reps that are watching, and I know you are, because I know if you're watching anything, you're watching a word-based NFT game show right now. We have just come up with gold. All right. We have your tagline for whatever product it is, joyless and hammered. It just makes sense. So get your whole Mad Men on, get your Don Draper on, and come holler at us. We want a finder's fee. Congratulations, though, to Jimmy. Yes. The member of the word heard so nice he named himself twice. Jimmy, your joyless and hammered has been honored because it just makes sense. And with that, we are on to our final round. Can you believe it? We have been moving. We have been grooving. We are already at the final round now. Just to remind you, this is for gold and special edition cards only. So your chances of winning are greatly increased. And here we go. Let's see what the prompt is for round 5. The best way to avoid tan lines is to use blank. Let's see what the word heard submitted. The best way to avoid tan lines is to use partner. The best way to avoid tan lines is to use moolah. The best way to avoid tan lines is to use cattle. To avoid those tan lines, use streak. Best way to avoid tan lines is to use indoor, is to use window, is to use neither, is to use apple pie, is to use support, is to use shaped spoon. There you have it, panelists. There you have it. The word heard decided they're not going to go with a whimper into the final special gold and special edition round. No, it's all just curveballs. It's all curveballs with a lot of speed. So I really can't wait to see what you put down here. And I'm going to end the way I began in the same order. So Rama Valuri, I'm starting with you.
The best way to avoid tan lines is to use apple pie. Because if you eat enough apple pie, you won't go outside. And if you're not outside, you can't get tanned. If you can't get tanned, you can't get tan lines.
At beginning, middle, and end. You wrap that story up just perfectly. That's an excellent point. So now let's talk to you, Liz Glazer. What say you?
When I first saw the prompt, the things that came into my mind were nothing and nakedness to avoid tan lines, like nothing as opposed to sunscreen or what have you. And then I thought, okay, well, neither. I do say neither. Okay, you said neither, but we differ on Rama's last name and I guess this word. So I was imagining, like, let's say that this is already mid-conversation, right? Like, oh, do you want to use sunscreen or nakedness? And it's like, actually, the best way to avoid tan lines is to use neither.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and be influenced and use neither.
I mean, that was not my intention, Matt.
Oh no, but let me tell you,
I say mate.
it's true. Yes, it's short for Matthew. But I love that logic. I love that logic. This is part of a conversation.
Yeah.
All right, we are coming in and going out. And with that, Brandy Stillwell, it's on to you.
Okay, hear me out. So okay, I went with shaped spoon, and the reason why is because I felt like if that would probably only like cover your hoo-ha-ha vagina area, and then it would end up looking like the snowman from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which was like Leon Redbone, just that little thing. So you know, and then if you had a bathing suit, that would probably cover that if you had to go, and then you wouldn't have tan lines. So I don't know. I'm going with the shaved spoon for like Leon Redbone from the Island of Misfit Toys and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I love it. It's a little bit, just a holiday twist in there for you.
It's Christmas in July.
Yes.
Feeling it, and I am with that. These are all three really compelling arguments. They all three have a point. They all are hitting in a way that I was not expecting to have happen. So with that, take that information and write down your final answer. Who I know the word heard is jumping right now. So let's check in one final time with Phil Ranta and see what the word heard's saying.
Yes, I am absolutely convinced now that Brandy is a one of the friends of Doctor Who that travels through many time periods because the references range from 1750 to about 1970, and then it goes all over the place within there. Well, let's see what the word heard had to say. So too Reap says, endure, avoid the sun entirely. That's my motto, and it has that. Look at all those video games back there. That's how I live my life. T. Richardson PGH says, I assume that's moolah, 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 moolah. And then J.K. Palm says, this is obviously neither. Let's be real. And no, overthink it. Because you had to do a lot of grammar shaping on this one. So I think that's where he was going there. Art Addicted OG said streak. All out there. That's a fact. Crypto Don 9672 says, tanning is so 70s. Hey, we did it in the 90s too, because we all wanted the boy band look. Callie Malley 2021 said, streak actually makes sense, but I love apple pie. I do too. Look out, world. And Doge the Count says, partner on top. I think you've got an idea there. But let's see if we have any changed ideas from the panel so that the word heard can get an awesome prize.
Absolutely. Word heard, you don't let me down in the comment stream. Let me just tell you about that. Okay. We have heard from each other. We have heard from the word heard, and we are on our final round. The best way to avoid tan lines is to use. Rama, what say you?
Neither. I was convinced by the counsel for the defense, Liz Glazer, attorney at law, sound logic, and it's hard to argue with a perfectly articulated point.
How do you like that? So, Liz, our arbiter, our attorney, our appeal to the court.
I had a feeling that my camp friend at least would buy the argument, and so I stuck with neither.
All right. You bet on it, and you weren't wrong. So, Time Lord herself, Brandy Stillwell, will finish and escape into the TARDIS.
All right, guys, I gotta go. I went with the attorney, Liz, because she does present a really good argument. So I have your back, Liz.
Oh, can I tell you, I did not think it was going to go that way. That is actually, of all the things that you have been picking tonight, not that you would not just that neither would be the one that was chosen. The best way to avoid tan lines is to use neither. And I am
Or
so
neither,
glad.
Matt. Or neither.
Or neither. All right. Which one would I use? Neither or neither. Let's just call the whole thing off and declare our winner, which is Kevin M.
Whoop, whoop.
Kevin M. I know you were just like, nah, come on. Are they really? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And now you are going to be the owner of an official, unofficial NFT prize from owneveryword.com. Be sure to tip your panelists when you cash in on that, baby. And ladies and gentlemen, people of the internet, that is our show.
Woo! This was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Wasn't it, though? Look,
Yeah.
everybody, thank you so much for watching Own Every Word, the game show. But before we go, all right, let's start with you. Brandy Stillwell, where can the people find you?
I am on Instagram at Twitter, Brandy_Stillwell, and then on Twitter at Brandy Stillwell. 2 E's, 3 L's.
Absolutely love it. Rama, where can the people find you?
You can find me on any social platform at Rama Valuri. It's nice and simple there.
And finally, Liz Glazer, where can the people find you?
Yep, just at Liz Glazer.
Love it. Thank you all for being here. This was awesome. It was awesome just being with you, being influenced, and going on the ride with you. Thank you all for watching. I have been Matt Harris, or Mate, as you, if you like. You can join us again next Wednesday and every Wednesday at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Thank you very much, Word Heard. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.